would you like to do a little bit of an introduction? Tell the people about yourself.
Thank you very much. Great to be here, and thank you for asking. My name's Steve Rocky. I'm People Director for Homegrown Hotels and Limewood Group. I kind of started off in hospitality. I did a hotel catering degree, and then I graduated in 1999, and I've always done HR. So my first job was an on-site personnel, as it was called back then, personnel officer at the Millennium Dome. So kind of opened and closed that. Did probably about 6 years in contract catering with Compass Group, another 6 years as an HR manager with Pizza Express, so kind of into the world of casual dining. Mm-hmm. 3 years thereafter with Byron. I then did some consultancy stuff for about a year, and then the opportunity at Homegrown came along, which was one not to be missed. Started to work with the Pigs and Limewood Group for about 3.5 years now, something like that.
Hospitality is an industry that, I guess if you ask most people, that they would say that most folks who work in hospitality are absolute extroverts. Not always the case, I don't think, if I'm honest with you.
No.
How can I succeed in hospitality as an introvert?
I'm an introvert, and I've done 20 odd years in hospitality. I think it's about targeting the business and maybe the role, actually, as to how it is, as to what's required of you in that role.
Okay.
And there are clearly some jobs that are more suited to a more extrovert personality. And there are roles that absolutely are not. So maybe the industry is the right thing, because, you know, hospitality is, in my mind, the ultimate meritocracy. It doesn't matter who it is you are or what it is you do or what job you have, frankly. If you're really good at it and you apply yourself and you've got the right attitude, the chances are you can be successful at it. Mm-hmm. So whether you are then starting to apply for roles that might be more suited to your personality type might be something you want to do. That said, as a guest, sometimes the last thing you want to do is sit in a restaurant and be surrounded by people who are just full extrovert, because it's pretty annoying sometimes. So it's absolutely not a barrier. I think it's a funny, and in some ways it's a funny question to ask, because it predisposes you to thinking that you're kind of up against it in some way.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not. It's really about using what it is you have that someone else doesn't have to your advantage. So all of the great traits that come along with being an introvert, find roles and find businesses that suit that, and you'll be incredibly successful because that's how it is you roll. You know, it's the age-old comparison, which is obviously always a waste of time. Don't ever bother comparing. But acknowledge the skills and the abilities that you have, and target businesses and roles that suit that, of which there are many. So, you know, don't just sort of think, oh, I'm an introvert, so therefore I can't. You know, I'm going to be a terrible waiter. A, that's not true. And B, that might just be one role in the stepping stone of your career in hospitality. And you will naturally find where it is you sit. And then you just keep plugging away at it.
That question around the kind of introversion is quite interesting, because I think there's an assumption around what being an introvert actually means. Mm-hmm. So people would look at me and think I'm an absolute extrovert all day long, whereas actually kind of I am more of an introvert, and the idea that actually I can do this, I can do the kind of big noisy fella, the kind of in your face, kind of warm, friendly, kind of vivacious and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It can be quite tiring. It can be quite draining. Because at the end of the day, you're just a bit like, ooh.
Yeah, you just need that. You just need that break.
Absolutely. Need that quiet time by yourself, potentially in a quiet room, just to kind of just sit and reflect on it. And I think, you made that point that being an introvert, it most certainly is not a stumbling block towards kind of achieving in this industry at all. It is just about knowing how to manage that with yourself, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is. It is about learning how to manage that and how you manage that in what can be a very hectic and busy environment. You know, wherever you are in hospitality, it can be very hectic, frantic, and busy. But I think it's I go back to the point. It's understanding the real positives that brings for you, and using those, because the 10 words that you say will be the 10 words that people listen to.
Absolutely.
And if you choose great 10 words, then those are the bits that sometimes people remember, not the 50 minutes of waffle from the person sitting next to you.
An amazing thing. Good stuff, Steve. Thank you very much for that really interesting conversation, and some really useful stuff, I think, certainly for those introverts amongst us who are worrying that we're not the big, loud, noisy person that everybody needs to hear. And
no, but I think it's, again, just to maybe hit the last point home, if it's a business that demands that, it's not the business for you. You've just targeted the wrong place. That's what it is you think you want, as opposed to where you'll fit. And don't be afraid. You know, if that's not the right place, it's just not the right place. That's okay. You'll find somewhere where you naturally fit into.
I love that. There is a place for us all.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've just got to search for it and get the right one.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. It's good to chat.